Hello Chromian, and welcome to Lesson 5. This time we'll take a look at some of the mechanisms under the hood. This diagram shows how a signed operation flows through Chromia. To initiate an operation, the user signs a transaction. The node, or rather the post-chain software it's running, takes over from here. First, validating the transaction, then translating the instructions we gave through Rell into SQL so the underlying table can be updated, then adding a block with all this information to the blockchain, and finally sending a receipt back to the user. This diagram shows how queries work in Chromia. They are simpler than operations because they don't need signing, as they're not updating anything. They're like view functions, just returning values. You send a Rell query to the node, where it's translated into SQL, and the result of that is returned back to you. The blockchain automatically saves all the transactions happening, and we can directly query that. As you can see, it's even quite simple, because everything is built into the system. You just need to know what the system looks like. Fortunately, you can see that right here in the docs. Pause and go through at your own pace, or come back and study later. For now, we'll go back and implement the query. Okay, let's try it. Start or restart your node, this time wiping it so we're sure we start fresh. And we're just going to verify that we actually have a clean slate. And yes, we got an empty result, nothing is lingering, we are ready to proceed. Let's insert a book, but this time with a deliberate spelling error. Okay, the book is inserted, but here's a useful tip. If you remember, in Lesson 4, we made a requirement that only a book admin could insert books. We specifically created the book admin key ID for this purpose. So when we inserted the book before, we also provided that book admin key ID. You could absolutely specify it every time it's required, but there's another option of setting a default key ID. This can be either global or project specific. So let's try and set the book admin as a default key ID for this project. In the project folder, we'll create a .chromia folder, and inside of that, a file named config. Let's first verify that the transaction went through when we supplied the key ID. And it looks like we have the book with our intentional misspelling. We should also be able to see the full transaction itself. Yes, and we even got the verification of who signed the transaction. Now, to correct our spelling, we first need to make the title mutable. Of course, we also need an operation that can update the title. And again, we're going to require that the admin signs. Almost ready. Now we just need to update. Alright, let's try and correct the spelling. But this operation needs to be signed. Let's remove the key ID from here so we can also verify that our default key ID is working. And indeed it looks good. Let's just check that the spelling is correct. Yes, now it looks much better. And finally, let's see the transactions we did. And here is indeed the first with the misspelling and the second with the correct spelling. Great job making it this far. You're really getting through some key concepts and picking up helpful shortcuts and efficiency tips along the way. Happy tinkering with the code, and I'm really looking forward to seeing you again in the next video.